Good afternoon. It's October 3rd, 2022, and I'm just going to get right into it today. I don't have a lot of time, but um, we just had an uptrend, but there were a lot of traps and not a whole lot of trades. So it's really good to get in early and get your trades over with. So at 5 o'clock, we had the spike in channel. I think we came in uh, like right here, just about. So we couldn't enter on this correction. It appeared to we appeared to have a break, and then we get a second entry that's like a higher low right there. So maybe you enter on that. It's a bit away from the EMA, but it is off that trend line. And I looked at this as a new low. First entry failed, second entry very close to that trend line. But again, that's very far from the EMA. But it was a nice move up. And then we get a second entry long, and I mean it's off that trend line, which has been holding. So I think you got to take that. And you get a higher low right there, but I think that's too close to the highs. Then we start to correct, and you get a failed second entry long. That's also a second entry short right after the open. I think with a bearish setup like that, I think you can. It closes back in the trend channel. I think you can take that. And you get a first entry failed, second entry long. I marked it red. It could be green though. It's not in the trend channel. Yeah, I think that's probably more so green. And then we just chop on down to the trend channel. And is this confirmation? So this is confirmation of that trend channel. So we shoot up, pretty much test the midline, come a little short of it, and you get a. Actually, this is kind of looks like a repeat pattern of this trade. You get a first entry failed, second entry long. That's also, oh no, it's not a second entry short. So it's congestive. It's a failure. Not the greatest setup. But then we bounce, and you actually get a second entry long off the trend channel with room back to the EMA. So for that reason, maybe you take that. But probably a news item here that sent it rocketing up, and you get another spike in channel up. And you get a second entry off this trend line, but no good signal bar. And I just don't see how you could enter this. You get a second entry long right here, but the signal bar is no good. And you know, I'm realizing now that this is like a repeat pattern of this up here. You get a first entry, second entry, and it just forms some congestion and withers out. And the same thing here, first entry, second entry. Really, the second entry is right here, probably, because this probably ticked higher than went lower and then went up. But it looks like a two-legged pullback, boom, and then you get an outside bar. So just some tricky traps. And there's a failure right here, but I don't see why you would want to take that. When we come up here, you get a two-legged pullback, but then you get a good signal bar, but then it's an outside bar. And that's why it's probably just good to enter off the trend channels on a day like today, but we just don't get a lot of setups off the trend channels. And this just turns out to be a range. It breaks lower, and you get a double test right here with a good signal bar. Maybe you take that. And then we form another range up here. And that break lower fails, we shoot up, and then we form another range. And this looks like a second entry long right here off the trend channel, but with all the congestion, both sides of the EMA, I don't think you want to take it. So here you have a failure off of this, right after we bounced off the trend channel. But look, we didn't make it to the highs of the trend channel, so you got to be careful. But that was a nice trap. You can see all the longs they trapped. And you come up here, and this looks like a two-legged pullback, and that's a second entry short. Yeah, double bottom, new low, second entry short. So you might take that. And unfortunately, we don't get a failure set up. And maybe you take this. I had a range drawn. I don't know what happened. Well, we have a double test right here, so maybe you ride this back to the EMA. But you can see, I mean, they didn't take it back to the EMA right away, and it looked like it was going to fail. So, but you look at this probably as a double bottom. First entry failed, second entry short. That's super congestive. And then we're just going higher. You don't get good setups here. Unfortunately, I don't see anything. This is a strong trend, so maybe you enter in this, but look, it turns out to be congestive because we just had a break. So it's risky. You got a second entry long right here, and I marked it blue, but look at all that. We had a break and a move to a new high. So I marked it blue, it's probably green. Here it starts to look like prices are turning. And this kind of looks like a double test second entry short, but I mean that's a tough sell right there. That's first entry, second entry. I'm not crazy about that. You get this failure right here, maybe you take that. That's probably the best entry of the day, to be honest. And then we just go into the close. So that's how I saw it today. Just be patient. Wait for the days. This market personality is probably going to change very soon. So just be patient. I'll be back tomorrow.